Okay, another real quick video, right? You cannot carry in League of Legends, right? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why, okay? If you go into the lobby and you create a custom game and call it 1 versus 2 or 1 versus 3, all right? And you load up the game, you can be a Grandmaster Challenger player, you will still lose to Bronze and Iron players, right? Because this game does not allow you to carry 1 versus 3, right? It's just impossible. I tried it. I tried it. I said 1 versus 2. Those bastards, they pick Nasus and Udyr against me. And I picked Tryndamere, right? Nasus alone, late game, is gonna destroy you, right? And Udyr is quite strong early game. So they guarantee the win. And both of them were, one of them was silver, another guy was like bronze 4 or 3 or something like that, right? I managed to kill Udyr one time, but then you have to understand Nasus is gonna scale, right? You're not gonna win, right? Then I tried to play 2 versus 4, and impossible again, impossible, because if they have looks, she is going to poke you to death. You won't even be able to farm, right? And we're not even gonna go into like level scaling, item scaling, the fact that there is gazillion crowd control in the game. Everybody has escapes, right? So my question to you: how are you planning to carry your team 1 versus 5? You cannot even win 1 versus 2. How are you gonna win 1 versus 5? You can say, oh, yeah, you can get fed and then you can beat other players. If they are total beginners, you can. Because I played games where I played Jax. Oh, it was back when there was Spear of Sojourn, and I could literally jump into 5 people and absolutely destroy them. But those guys were effectively bots. Like the skill level they were playing, one of them was not even building any items because he didn't know how to build items, right? This was me leveling up an account. Once you get to level, let's say, I don't know, bronze 3, maybe even bronze 4, even probably iron 1, they will slaughter you, right? Because they know how to build items. They will probably play champions with crowd control. They will probably farm okayish, right? They're not gonna have like 300 farm at 25 minutes. There's no way, but they will have like 100 farm at maybe 23 minutes, right? It's still okay, right? And their champion's gonna have levels, right? Because these guys, like I was playing against, they were like, I was like level 17, and 2 of them were like level 9 and level 8. Do you know what I mean? Like in players who have any form of experience, they will not have that problem. So there's no way you're gonna jump into 5 people and just decimate them, right? It's just not gonna happen, right? And don't even get me started. Once you start playing like platinum or gold level, it's not gonna happen, right? So what I'm saying is, how are you planning to carry a team of feeders, right? Because not only do you have to defeat the enemy team 1 against 5, you also have to factor in that your team is giving gold to the enemy, which means they're effectively playing against you, right? Which means you're now 1 versus your team and their team. There is no way to do it, right? So you're not really playing, you're just rotating the queue. If you get feeders on the enemy team, you win. If the feeders are on your team, you lose. That's it, right? That's what I'm saying. Just play one on one. It's much more. It's much more kind of. It's what it's supposed to be, right? You think to yourself, God damn it! I wish I had control of the game. In one on one, you do. I wish I was playing against a player. If he is trolling, I could smash him in like 7 seconds. In one on one, you can. I wish I would not held hostage by bad players. You can just exit the game. Custom games, you don't get punished for AFK, right? Everything is fixed in custom games, right? I would go as far as say, if you enjoy 5 on 5, create a lobby for 5 on 5 and just play that as opposed to matchmaking. Because as soon as you go into matchmaking, right, the coin flipping, you are now in the system, and that system is gonna bounce feeders. You're just gonna be coin flipping, right? Now, in custom games, you can cheat and you can put like diamond players on your team and then scrubs on the enemy team. This way you're gonna win. But of course, it's gonna get boring because you're gonna be winning all the time, right? But in one-on-one, it's a learning curve, right? It's a learning curve. You'll be losing a little bit in the beginning, but then you'll figure out how to play well, all right? And it's full control, right? If you play well, you win. If the guy on the enemy team trolls, he picks some kind of Shaco AP, and he thinks you're gonna just walk into his traps, dude, you can just farm and you win. There is always a way to win the game in one-on-one. Compare that to 5-on-5, right? You playing Tryndamere, they counter pick you with Tahm Kench, right? Let's say even you manage to kill Tahm Kench twice, right? You kill Tahm Kench twice. They get all the dragons, and Tahm Kench, his build is as follows: Ninja Tabi, Radiant Omen, what's that? The Sterak's Cage, right? Frozen Heart, and you're Tryndamere. Now, how are you gonna deal with that? No way to win this, right? But in one-on-one, if he builds Ninja Tabi first, he does no damage, and he cannot farm really well, right? So you can outfarm him, you can beat him, right? You can take his turret because he does no damage, right? There is always a venue to win the game. In 5-on-5, best of luck too, right? He's gonna get all the dragons, Baron. He's gonna build only armor, and you will do absolutely no damage. Now, even if we play full game in one-on-one, you can, for example, I played against Nasus, and I built tank Tryndamere, and I ignored the Nasus, and I just destroyed his structures until super minions started. Well, I destroyed his Nexus, right? Super minions started to kicking in, and Nasus have very big problem dealing with super minions because he needs to use his mana. As soon as he runs out of mana, you won the game, right? So, realistically speaking, when you play against Nasus, if you take his Nexus uh, before 10 minutes, if you take his inhibitor before 10 minutes, right, you won the game, right? Because he will, if he dies, the super minions are just gonna destroy the structures, the turrets, right? And past 10 minutes, death timers are quite long, right? So he will have problems. He will have massive mana problems, massive, right? So that's the way to beat him in a long game as Tryndamere. You just have to ignore him. So you see, there is always a venue to win the game, always, right? Whereas in 5-on-5, if you go tank Tryndamere, you will do absolutely no damage. Tahm Kench cannot kill you. You cannot kill Tahm Kench, right? And then you are stuck with your teammates who already are feeders, and you just lost the game, and that's it. That's it, right? Game over, right? Nothing you can do. So that's what I'm saying. One-on-one solves all of your problems. If he goes, I don't know, Darius tank, you can go one offensive item. If you play full game, you can go one offensive item and then one full tank as well, right? Tryndamere, tank Tryndamere with one offensive item is very hard to deal with because I tested it one-on-one. Very, because this item right now, it's called Kraken Slayer, right? Very strong item. It's very expensive, but it's extremely overpowered. Extremely in one-on-one. Like you can deal with anybody because it does true damage, right? And then you can just build some tank items to stop Darius from one-shotting you, and then you can build a bit of lifesteal, and then you can deal with him. Do you know what I mean? Whereas in 5-on-5, you cannot do that because you have to deal. Like in 5-on-5, I don't understand why people play 5-on-5 at all, right? Because effectively speaking, to win the game, you have to beat. Like when I was watching some players, they were carrying like challenger players, they were carrying loser's queue, right? Every single every single team fight, they had to kill 4 or 3 of the enemy, right? And survive, and only then they were barely winning the game. Barely. right? Most of the time they would have lost anyway, right? But can you imagine like the experience level of a guy who can utilize his team to be a meat shield for him so he can um, destroy 3 or 4 players of the enemy team and survive? Just think about like the level of reflexes, knowledge of the game, and how much training you need to do to pull something off. And 90% of the time they end up losing anyway, right? In one-on-one, not a problem, right? One-on-one, not a problem, right? Okay. That's why you see like players who can carry losers queue tend to be full-time players, right? And they tend to be like, let's say they tend to be like top 30 challenger player, and he's playing and in gold, low gold, well, maybe gold or platinum elo, right? As soon as they hit diamond, they no longer can carry the losers queue, right? But again, like I'm challenging people to go to do this, just custom game, 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3, and off you go. You know, if this was possible, then solo queue would be playable, right? Because then it doesn't matter what your teammates are doing. You know you're gonna play well, and then you can just 1v3, right? Okay, take care.